All right, so we're just going to get started here. I want to welcome each and every one of you to this chat with admissions. And we are I'm going to welcome our panelists and our admissions team in just a quick second. My name is Elise Wagner. I am the co-founder and the chief wellness officer for the Functional Medicine Coaching Academy. And I'm here today with two wonderful alums of the Functional Medicine Coaching Academy. And I would love to introduce you to Carrie Schultz. Hi, Carrie.
Hi.
Is from Virginia, and you're going to hear a little bit more about her in just a little bit. And we also have Manaz, and there's Manaz. Hi, Manaz is originally from the UK. She's living in Saudi Arabia. And so we have a huge international community here at the Functional Medicine Coaching Academy. But I would just love, for those of you who are just coming in, please feel free to use the chat function, or you can use the Q&A if you have a question for us. We're definitely going to get to your questions. You can use the chat and let us know where you're calling in from. We'd love to hear that. I'm calling in from sunny and warm Chicago right now, so that's just wonderful. But I'd love to hand this over to Carrie to just do a mini introduction and share a little bit about yourself, and then we'll move over to Manaz. So feel free, Carrie. Go ahead.
Hi. Hi, I'm Carrie, and I am a graduate of the Functional Medicine Coaching Academy. I'm also now on the admissions team. I graduated in 2019, the fall of 2019, and I'm also a nationally board certified health and wellness coach. Besides that, I am a mom of two and a yoga instructor as well.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Carrie. And Manaz, how about you? Can you share a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, similar to Carrie, I'm also a functional medicine certified health coach with FMCA. I was actually a student in the first year of the program in 2016. I work with FMCA in different roles, and I also coach. So I love doing that. And I'm also a national board certified health coach as well, and I have 3 children. So very similar as well.
Wonderful. And thank you so much. And during this time, we are going to be hearing about their experiences, and specifically about how health coaching and what health coaching has given back to them. So we're going to talk all about this. I'm super excited. And whether you're here just because you're curious, or maybe you're interested in becoming a health coach, and maybe this is just brand new for you and you're just starting your journey, wherever you are along the journey, we totally honor and accept, we're excited to support you around that. And we're here to also guide you, because as you can see, from our alums and our graduates, you're not alone. And so we're here to answer some questions for you that are going to be coming up. And again, feel free to use the Q&A chat feature to submit your own questions. And if we can't get to your very specific question, we are going to let you know how you can connect with us further. So let's get into the very first question. I would love to hear from Carrie first. Can you share a little bit about what surprised you the most in becoming a health coach?
Yeah, so when I was looking for a program, I was really interested in functional medicine. That's where my passion was. I knew how that had changed my life for the better. What I was so surprised about is how much really goes into coaching, and the skills and the intricacies that go into being a coach. It really took me by surprise, but a pleasant surprise. And it definitely took me out of my comfort zone, but I always tell people that's where you grow, when you're out of your comfort zone. So yeah, that's definitely what surprised me the most.
I love that. I love that you are embracing the discomfort, right? In growing and learning new different skills and tools and techniques. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. And Manaz, how about you? What surprised you the most as you were on your journey becoming a health coach?
Well, there were a couple of things that surprised me. I think the first thing was this sense of complete freedom, because like many other people, I was drawn to this whole field of health coaching because I was a helper by nature. It's like I just wanted to help people. And I found that by actually becoming a health coach, I could be free of that weight, that burden of being a helper and all of the things that, that entails. And I felt as if there was a weight lifted. I could just completely, be in a completely different space because I was accompanying these people on their journey where they were finding their intrinsic motivation. And then you realize that, when you help someone to help themselves, that's when you've really helped them. So that was, I think, one of the first things. And I think another really profound, surprise for me was I didn't realize that every single coaching session, every encounter is actually a continuation of your own personal growth, your own transformation. And you realize, oh my goodness, when I start on this path, I'm a perpetual student. How amazing is that? Because I'm constantly learning, I'm constantly expanding, I'm witnessing all these light bulb moments from other people, but I'm also having them myself. So you're feeding that, and it's the two-way process. I think that's what I found most surprising about it.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that, Manaz and Carrie. And just to kind of underscore what you said, and it really is a personal transformation as you become a health coach, as you start on this journey. So many of our prospective students and now graduates who kind of come full circle and they graduate and they come back and they share at graduation and they say, oh, wow, I didn't quite know what was in store as far as how I was going to change and transform for the better and become, a better mom or a better dad or a better person in general, and then be able to help people. And I think that's one of the biggest things that we see our graduates, as they're coming to become as they're a prospective student and then going through the program. I think they're seeing that, okay, this is something that can truly transform my life personally, and it can also support and help my kids or my family or the community that I work in or my clients, and it's a personal and professional transformation. And I think there's two other things that I really see. One is that people really see how much they truly love and find joy in this type of work, and how it's really mission aligned or, soul purpose aligned. It's really their part of their calling. And I would say the other thing that is surprising, what I hear from some of our health coaches, is they don't need to have all the answers. They don't have to be perfect either. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to answer all the questions, because it's truly all about the client in front of them, right? And allowing them to own their health and really be the driver. So yeah, thank you. Thank you both for sharing that. And welcome to those who are just joining us. Feel free to use the chat and share where you're calling in from. If you have any questions, you can use the Q&A function and submit a question, and we're happy to answer those live. So let's move to the next question. And this question is, what was your most rewarding coaching experience? So Manaz, would you like to kick us off with this one?
Yeah, sure. Actually, I was thinking about that. I thought there are too many to choose from, but I've just been inspired by what you've just shared. And I think it's an example that illustrates the impact of a coach. I remember coaching a mother of 5 daughters, and they were various, varying ages, from college all the way down to preschool. And I remember we came to the end of our coaching sessions, and she said to me, I came to you because I had some health issues. And it became so much more. And I realized I'm not the person I was. And I've actually changed as a mother. My parenting style, my relationship with my daughters has improved so much. And she was like, I'm so grateful for this. And I liken it to someone being in a room, and then all of a sudden a window is opened that you didn't know existed. And there's a whole new world that's been exposed to you. And you come across all these new perspectives. She hadn't heard of like positive psychology. She hadn't applied it in her life, you know, the character strengths and how to use all of those mind-body techniques. So all of those things helped her so much. And I remember at that moment thinking, wow, you know, her 5 daughters are now going to have such a positive influence with their mother and seeing their mother's transformation. When these 5 young women become mothers, you know, that's a transformation for them, and that's the ripple effect, you know, that I think I find the most rewarding. When you coach someone, it's never just that one person.
I love that you just said that. We need to quote that. That's just amazing. It's never just that one person. Yeah. And what a gift, truly, what a gift to be able to give herself and then to be able to give her daughters and to role model that. It's just, yeah, beyond rewarding. So thank you so much for sharing that story. It's a beautiful illustration. And Carrie, how about you?
I mean, anytime you're coaching someone and something profound happens, like their pain has been significantly reduced, which can be really a life changer for somebody, or if their sleep has improved so much. I can remember someone looking at me and being like, that has changed my life, you know, being able to sleep better. And we all know how important that is. So, I mean, those little things just mean so much, but it's also those little moments when you first get on a coaching session and you just see the person's face light up and they're so excited to tell you about what they accomplished since you last met. And it's just those little wins that they feel so good. Yeah. So, and when you were talking before, it's like the person you're coaching doesn't even have to understand that you're approaching this with functional medicine principles. They're going to reap the benefits of it. So it's, you know, it doesn't matter if they know that or not. It still have a profound effect.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And it really is about the small little moments. I think one of the most rewarding experiences that a coach can provide to someone is this, it's almost this invisible thing, but it is and it's not. And I'll explain that. So it's the opportunity that a coach can provide to someone or a group of people, depending on if you're coaching in groups or individuals, but it's this sense of safety and non-judgment and a safe space to really be seen as a human being and to be heard. That is, I think, one of the most crucial aspects that a coach can provide to someone. And you're right, it's in those little tiny moments where you might ask a question, or you might be seeing something maybe that they're not saying right verbally, but they're showing with their arms or with their eyes or their facial expressions that you're able to see and call out lovingly in a nurturing way, of course. And to be seen and heard, I think, is just a wonderful, wonderful gift that so many people are actually starved of right now. So yeah, thank you both for sharing that. So let's move on to the third question. And again, I really want to encourage those who are attending live, feel free to use the chat, feel free to use the Q&A. Thank you for submitting a question. We will get to that in just a quick second. So I want to move into this question of what gives you the most confidence with your health coach skills. So Carrie, would you like to answer this?
Yeah, I still feel sometimes when I start a coaching session, I feel that imposter syndrome. And I think it's important to let people know that that's okay. And that's normal to feel that. Like, can I really do this? Like, I'm definitely not the expert in all these subject matters. But undoubtedly, when that coaching session is over, that's when I feel most confident. It's like, wow, we really accomplished something here. You know, they're really getting something out of this. it's a very rewarding feeling. Yeah. So it feeds them and it feeds me.
Yeah, I love that. And thank you so much for pointing that out and normalizing this whole imposter syndrome. This is totally normal. You don't have to be this picture perfect version of health or perfect yourself. You're human. We're all human, right? And so we all have it. I have it. I know Sandy would say she's got it as well. It's just all something we can normalize and work through and really support each other. So thank you for sharing that. And you're right. As you continue to, hold space, not only for yourself as a coach, but also as you're coaching others, you do over time, you gain, it's like coaching is like a muscle. Every time you do it, you're going to gain those skills and you're going to start to just gain more confidence. So thank you so much for sharing that. And Manaz, how about you? What gives you confidence in your health coach skill set?
Well, I'd like to go back to initially when I wanted to do the program and I knew, okay, this is my passion. And I was thinking, but I come from a non-healthcare related field. And actually, I remember when I wrote in and you actually answered, because it was like back in 2016. And I was so pleased and so touched. And I just felt that, oh, there is a way, because you were so encouraging that, yes, it is possible. And I remember thinking at the time, I'm going to go from teaching to coaching. Can I make this work? How will I, and feeling that sense of, am I going to be confident enough to do that? And also because I was in a region, I was in a country where health coaching wasn't really well known and there were no functional medicine doctors at that time. But I just knew it was something I really wanted to do. And the thing that actually gave me confidence was that FMCA is a collaboration with the Institute for Functional Medicine. And I knew that all the information I was getting was science-based. I knew that it was research-backed information. So I could, stand up, with a straight spine and say, hey, this information I'm giving to you from the experts at YFM. And so that definitely instilled confidence in me. And then obviously, to top that, FMCA itself, the program brought in the best of the best when it comes to positive psychology, mind-body medicine, all the coaching skills. So I found that having this really strong foundation, it enabled me to build that confidence, step by step. If I hadn't had this foundation, it wouldn't have, I wouldn't have been where I am today. And I think that was the most important thing for me.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And it kind of highlights, we'll just kind of go 30,000 foot level here, just the overall program in general, where you're getting the content, right? So you're learning from experts in their field and everything is research backed and evidence based. It's not theory. And then also the entire length of the program, 12 months, and I'll say beyond, in our alumni program, you're having the opportunity to actually practice in those live training sessions that we're offering. So 3 times a month for 2 hours at a time, you're on Zoom, you're practicing those different skills and tools and techniques. You're actually integrating all of that content and that knowledge. And it's really weaving together, and becoming just a part of your being, right? And your coach skill set. And that is something, I think that's a beautiful implementation of learning the content and practicing for the entire year. So I just heard, actually, I was on office hours the other day, and a graduate say, well, actually now that I think of it, I've been kind of coaching the entire year. I've had a whole year of coaching underneath my belt. So I feel really good about going out into the world and starting to coach my clients. So that felt really good. So I could tell that, the confidence comes in a lot of different ways. And I'll add one more. There's the content, there's the live training sessions, but then there's also this community that is supportive, and just what I just see is this beaming light of people who are there to support and encourage and are willing to reach out. I was on office hours last night actually, and someone was talking about, I really want to role play open-ended questions. And you get like 3 people who are saying in the chat, like, okay, just give me a shout or email me, or I can get on Zoom with you and help you out. It's just a beautiful space. So thank you both for highlighting that. I want to head over to Sruti's question. Thank you so much. So you're calling in from San Jose, California. And Shruti says, can you talk a little bit about how you knew that coaching was what you wanted to do? So Carrie, I'll start with you first. This is from the Q&A.
Can you mind repeating it one more time? I was having an issue with the slide.
That's okay, no worries. She was asking, can you talk a little bit about how you knew that coaching was what you wanted to do?
Okay. So this is kind of like Manaz said, that you felt like you were born into this, so, that you were always knew that helping people was something that you were supposed to do. I may have shared this before, but I can remember in high school being selected to be part of a group that was called Natural Helpers. And it was a peer selected group to train you on how to help people. And so it just was like something that's been in me. I just didn't know how to go about it. And, think back in when I was going into college and picking the practical career, I think deep down inside, knowing that it wasn't passionate about it, it was more practical. And, just through, life lessons and my own personal health journey, it guided me here. And it may have taken a little bit longer than I would have liked, but I think we learn everything along the way. And there's a reason that we go the path we go. And just glad to have found FMCA and be here.
Yeah, we are too. We are very glad that you found FMCA as well, and listen to your passion, listen to your calling.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
it's never too late.
Absolutely right. It is never too late. Yes,
no.
yes. We have, oh my gosh, talk about, I know this is a question that we get a lot, it's like, am I too old to start a different career? Can I start the coaching career? And it's like, absolutely not. You are not too old. You just follow your passion and we're going to support you in doing so. So yeah, thank you for bringing that up. And Manaz, how about you? How did you know?
I think I wouldn't be able to add anything to what Kerry actually said. She summed it up so beautifully and perfectly. It really is a calling within your heart. You know that this is something you want to do. And then you set the intention and everything else falls into place.
Yes, very true. There's something about, I think there's something to be said for some intuitiveness here. Sometimes that gets pushed beyond. And I really do believe that intuitiveness or that intuition needs a seat at the coaching table, if you will. There's definitely a sense or this calling, this intuitive knowing that this is just the path that I need to be on. And I know for me, what really guided me into this entire, field. And it wasn't coaching at the beginning, because I went and did the whole psychology and counseling route and nutritionist route. But for me, I think it was the top strength that I have, which is a coaching strength, which is curiosity. And I've always been that curious person, asking those questions. Well, why and what? And tell me a little bit more about this, and really just continuing to excavate and dig and dig and dig. I like to get to the root cause. So for me, that was kind of a little bit of a couple signals, if you will, that helped me move into this area. So I hope that answers your question, and feel free, Sruti, to share, a little bit about, what's coming up for you, what might be, signaling you as this calling. So feel free to share that in the chat or the Q&A. So we'll move on to the next question here, which is, how do you support the health coaching industry? So Manaz, would you like to share?
Well, I'd like to share that I'm really grateful and blessed to be working for FMCA, because I get to really support the international students' journey through FMCA, whether it's, if it's an international student, I get to, perhaps it's a call in admissions, perhaps it's as a facilitator, or it might be in the international relations coordinator role for our alumni once they're out in the world as functional medicine coaches. And I think another way is just simply coaching in a region where functional medicine health coaching is relatively new, because it's so needed. And just doing that, I feel that's really supporting the health coaching industry.
Yeah, beautifully said. Whether you're in your hometown or community or within your family, or if you use a coaching, let's say you use an open-ended coaching question in line at the grocery store, I would say that counts as supporting the entire industry and creating a culture, a coaching culture, right? So thank you so much for sharing that, Manaz. And Carrie, how about you?
I'm going to be a little bit more specific about my answer, in the sense that we have a very active alumni group at FMCA, and we have a Facebook group in particular where a lot of coaches, graduates will go there if they have a question about the industry or maybe patient specific. And it's a great way to support one another, to answer those questions, to encourage our counterparts, and to ask our own questions, again, to show our own vulnerability, connect with other coaches on, their personal Facebook or Instagram pages. And again, like their posts, support them, give them the confidence to follow through on what their endeavors are. And you had mentioned before, Elise, about our live training sessions. And these are small, intimate groups that you travel through the program with. And like I said, I graduated in 2019. I still get together with the people in my cohort, probably about every other month. We get together. Again, not everyone, but whoever's available. Just for that whole purpose, is to support one another, to ask each other, what are you up to? What are you working on? What do you need support with? What questions might you have? And just to, still connect and keep that community going.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. And that really is, I think, part of the community is a huge piece to supporting this entire health coaching industry. And it really is a supportive, positive, very uplifting community that is there to just help. And really, I would say, I want to say everyone, to make a huge generalization, but so many of our members in our community really do practice, what they preach. And I would say, with every single question that you ask, space that you're holding, the non-judgmental space, with every session that you have, with every time that you're going out and educating another human being, whether it's a practitioner or provider or a child or an adult or an elder or whoever it is, about health coaching, or even about, functional medicine and health coaching, that is absolutely supporting, the overall health coaching industry. So, and I would say another thing as well is, one of the things that we really talk about, and we're happy to answer these questions a little bit more in depth, especially if you have questions around scope of practice. And staying within scope of practice is 1,000,000%, I would say, supporting the health coach industry, and just making sure that everyone is staying in their lane, and the doctors are doing what their role is, and the coaches are staying within their role. And so we can certainly talk a little bit more about that. And I encourage you to reach out if you do have questions on it, because we love to chat about that. So I'd love to move to the next question. One of my favorite questions, and this is all about, we get a lot of people who say, and especially I think we as a whole collective of functional medicine coaching, we always say, this is just such a joyful community, or it's such a joyful career and space to be in. And so let's really dig into this. Does health coaching really bring you joy, like we keep saying that it does? So, Manaz, do you want to share?
It is an absolutely beautiful question, and I did give it some. I was like, oh, when you asked me that question, the first thing that came into my mind was the Obi-Wan Kenobi line. It's like, you're my only hope, because when people come to you and they've tried so many different things and they're really at the end of their tether, they've lost hope, and when you're able to actually help them renew that hope, that is the thing that gives me true joy. I think when just in general, when we describe this what is joy, we're describing it as like an expansion in our hearts. But I would say that for me, it permeates my whole being. I feel the joy in my eyes because I'm able to see the real beauty of this energetic being in front of me that I'm coaching. I feel the joy in being fully present and listening so deeply that it's as if I can hear the whispers in their heart and I can reflect that back to them. So for me, the joy is complete. It's joy in a whole sense. That's the way that I would describe it.
Oh, Manaz, that is, those are actually, yeah, my eyes are actually welling up a little bit. That's a beautiful illustration of how health coaching actually brings you joy. Thank you for sharing that, because I can feel it. I don't know if you all can feel it. It's very palpable. To be able to do something that brings you this much joy. I mean, wow, and I can really do. I mean, I know this might seem a little extreme, but I do really feel my heart and my chest, kind of expanding as you are talking about it, because as someone who, we've all had that opportunity where we've been in a situation where we've been able to coach someone and really be with them, be present with them, see them, hear them, fully experience them, right? And there is some magic that happens 1,000,000%. So thank you so much for sharing. That was beautifully said. What did you say? The whispers in their heart. Yeah, that was amazing. Thank you. Carrie, how about you?
The coaching really does infiltrate your whole life. Like it's not just a job. It becomes your life. It becomes part of your identity and who you are. And I can think of two examples that really just brought me joy recently. A woman I had worked with, she works at the local Trader Joe's. And I was in there the other day, just on a Saturday shopping. And I see her and I'm like, hey, how are you? And you could tell she really wanted to engage. And I was like, okay, I'm going to pause and give her this moment. And she just was so excited to share with me that she is now a size 14 and doesn't have to wear plus size clothes anymore. And I was so touched that she wanted to share that with me and that she's so proud of herself. I mean, I have goosebumps thinking about it. That was really special. And then I can think of another example where a gentleman, and this wasn't a coaching client, but like I said, this infiltrates every part of your life. It's a yoga student of mine, but I was teaching about turning frustration into gratitude. And I kind of incorporate weave these lessons into a yoga class. And I saw that he posted on Facebook about how he had a very frustrating experience. Maybe it was with TurboTax or something with his taxes. And he's like, but I listened to that lesson from Carrie about turning frustration into gratitude. And here he is spreading this out to all these other people. So here's this little seed that I planted and I'm watching it grow and spread. And again, there's no other way to put it than it brings you joy.
Yeah, thank you. That gave me goosebumps as well, for sure. It's those little seeds that you're planting. And I would say, when we collectively as an admissions team are speaking to prospective students, that in and of itself, those calls are many little coaching calls. And they're little pops of joy, because whether someone enrolls or not, or they stay with us and they're just part of our community, I would say 9 times out of 10 on these phone calls, there is an insight or a light bulb moment, something that clicks, because we really do take the time to sit and have a conversation with you and to ask open-ended questions and to dig a little bit deeper and to say, what kind of heard some hesitation there. Can we talk about that? let's just talk about that for a second. That kind of stuff just really brings us joy as we are meeting you all where you're at and helping you move towards your journey again, whether that is at FMCA or you find another path. But if we can be that stepping stone and support you along that way, I know that that totally brings each and every one of us joy. We just love it. We eat it up. So, and we hope that it brings you some joy as well. And I want to share Sruti's comment really fast, if I may. She just says, hearing all you all speak, she pulled up her personality assessment from over 10 years ago and realized that her top ones were helper and restorative. Just wait, Sruti, until you are in the program and you do the Sphinx. Actually, you should be getting that email soon. And she said, ironically, I've worked hard to be everything else just to climb the corporate ladder, only to realize I feel empty. Your comments help me remember those assessments. Thank you. And you're so welcome. And I'm so glad that brought back some good memories, hopefully. So thank you so much for sharing. And we have a couple other questions that have come in. And so I'd like to take a moment to ask or answer those. And Maria had wrote in, what types of job opportunities health coaching brought to you? Have you found that health coaching is a good job to have while having a family? So, Carrie, would you like to answer that?
Health coaching is a fantastic job to have as a family. Whether you are working for someone or starting your own practice, a lot of coaching is done remotely via Zoom. You can make your own schedule. It's very friendly to having a family. You can do it at nights, on weekends, while your kids are at school. It's extremely flexible.
Very flexible. I would definitely agree. And Manaz, how about you? What would you say about that?
Again, I agree with Kerry. I mean, having a family and just being, you're at home, you're able to do it on Zoom, online, and be coaching anywhere in the world. And you can still give your children a hug and sort of see them for a few minutes in between. You wouldn't be able to do that if you were, somewhere else. So I think there are just so many pluses to being able to do health coaching while you have a family. And being able to implement it with your family as well, I think, is a big thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So being able to implement it with your family, being able to coach from anywhere and reach people beyond state or country lines, being able to have a flexible schedule, make your own, time, especially that's huge, I think, within the program as well, where the content that's delivered on a monthly basis, you can pretty much make up your own schedule, how you're going to devour or get through, consume the content, as I say, whether you want to watch it or listen to it or download the slides or read the transcripts. There is no right or wrong way to do so. So as you're going through the program, it's very flexible, but then as you're actually out in the world of coaching, it is also very flexible. You can really make your own schedule depending on if you're working for yourself or perhaps you might be working for someone else. But then what we hear a lot of graduates say as well is that there is a lot of flexibility within the coaching world. And, regarding different types of job opportunities that health coaching has brought, I would say from a very broad view, there's, you can pretty much I think you can bring health coaching into any type of job opportunity. I really think and believe that coaching skills and tools can come into any sphere of the job world and can certainly support. What we typically see is three main buckets, if you will, of where our graduates are working. So the first bucket is they're working for themselves. They're going to open up their own coaching business and they might be seeing clients personally, one-on-one or in groups. Then they could also be offering group coaching or creating programs in different classes, or again, those individual one-on-one coaching sessions. We also see as bucket two, students or graduates who are working alongside providers or practitioners in a collaborative care team. So that could be in a wellness center or a private practice or a hospital system. And so again, seeing clients one-on-one or in groups or creating programs. And then we see in the corporate space where some people who have come from the corporate world, they go back to their roots, but they're bringing their coaching skills and tools, and they're offering group programs or programming, wellness programming for different corporations. And again, supporting people, whether it's with individualized coaching or group coaching. So I would encourage you to also think about, what would be your ideal job or outcome? What would you love to do? What does that look like for you? Because I truly believe that you can create that if that's what you want. And the coaching world has that opportunity right now and flexibility to do so. And there was another question that came in by Sruti, and I'll go ahead and answer this live. She is curious, how did you build your coaching practice and find your clients? I hear that you have to be social media savvy and constantly put yourself out there to do that, and it worries me a little bit. So I totally get that. I know it worries a lot of other people. Who would like to go ahead and answer that? Manaz, would you like to start us off here?
I've got a very simple answer to that, because whenever someone says, well, even among the alumni, they say, how do you find more clients? And I always say, do the work to get the work. Like, when you coach someone and they've had that success with you, they don't hold back. They are so happy to share that with other people. So as long as you're happy, as long as you're, willing to have those conversations, as long as you're willing to ask them for a referral, they always are happy to refer people to you. And in fact, people ask them, what have you done? What have you been doing? That, there's all this change that has come about. And so it doesn't have to be all of these other things. Once you start coaching and you have good results, which you will have, obviously, if you've got the right foundations, they will actually bring you more clients. So the work actually brings you more work. It's about just getting out there and actually doing it.
Thank you, Manaz. And Carrie, how about you?
I like to say, where are your clients? And go where your clients are. So if it's maybe a niche that you're trying to serve, where are those people, and how can you present yourself, giving them maybe a nice little presentation, educational tidbit or whatever, and get in front of them and be where they are. And that is a great way to get your clients. I too found it very shocking that once people find out what you're doing, that they just come out of the woodwork. And it surprises you, the people that come up and say, hey, I heard you're doing this. I could really use some help with XYZ. And I was really surprised at how those people just come up. Or they may even, it might be a few years later. It just recently happened to me. Someone that I'd spoken to in 2 years was like, hey, I remembered you're doing this. Could you coach me about this? And I was, sure. But most importantly, be where your client is and get in front of them that way.
That's a great tip. Love that. I was going to say that as well, are your clients, on social media? And if so, what social media platform are they using? Are they on Instagram? Are they on Facebook? Or are they on LinkedIn? Or maybe they're not on social really at all. And that's okay too. So I think that's one of the first questions to answer. I love this from one of our graduates. I was interviewing her. Her name's Carrie, not this Carrie Schultz, but another Carrie. And she was sharing how she has built up her clientele. And it's just the most fun, fabulous way. I never would have thought of this. And she actually has gotten little stickers, and she puts those on her car, and it says, whatever her business name is, health coaching, and it has her phone number. So I don't know if you feel comfortable doing that, but that's a way that she's actually gotten clients. It's unique, it's creative. She certainly probably gets clients in her area, in her community. But there is lots of different ways that you can build up your clientele. But I would just underscore, what Carrie shared, go where your clients are. And what Manaz said as well is really just do the coaching, go back to the fundamentals, because when you do a great job and you support someone in a transformation, that's going to speak volumes for itself. So you don't have to be total social media savvy to get clients and to be successful. So I hope that answers your question. Thank you so much for asking it. Another question that we get is, and this is from Deb. She says, what is the physician looking for in a coach? And we get a lot of practitioners and physicians reaching out to FMCA saying, I want to hire an FMCA graduate. How do I do this? So Carrie, Manaz, what do you hear some of these doctors saying when they're looking for a functional medicine certified health coach?
So I think doctors really they need the time. They don't have the time to spend with their patients. And so they need that person that's able to handhold and to meet with that person more regularly and to answer the questions and to be that support, that guidance, that person holding them accountable to making sure that, 6 months from now when the doctor can see them again, that there's been progress made and that you're there, with them every step of the way to do that.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Absolutely. And Manaz, how about you?
Well, quite simply, the physicians know that they're finding the root cause and they tell them what to do. And it's the how, it's the implementation, it's that behavior change that they really need the coaches for. And so it comes back to the coaching skills again.
Absolutely. And we just had Career Week, and I was listening to some of the different providers and practitioners saying what type of characteristics are they looking for when hiring a coach. What really surprised me was that none of them said, I am looking for someone who has a degree or a background in healthcare, or X and Y number of degrees. The number one thing that this particular doctor I'm thinking of, and a couple others, shared across the board, the number one thing was passion. I want someone who's passionate and this is their purpose. And I think another thing that really attracts doctors, specifically doctors that are looking for a functional medicine trained health coach, is that they speak the same language. So that when you've got a doctor or a practitioner or physician who is providing a 2 to 3 minute directive to a patient and perhaps a coach, that coach can then kind of turn over to the patient or the client, as we call it, and turn that 2-minute directive into a 2-month or 2-week or sometimes 2-year, depending on what the issues are, into a much longer conversation, a much deeper conversation, and a much more meaningful conversation that actually transfers into change, transformational change. So I think that's a huge thing that physicians are looking for, is the passion. They can speak the same language, and someone who is just willing and ready to be coached, to coach others. And I would also say the last thing is someone who's able and okay with technology and being able to coach over Zoom as well. So great question, Deb. And we've got just a couple more questions before we wrap up for today. We get this question a lot, and I want to answer it because I think it's a really good, I think a lot of people are here, and that's okay. So Debbie asks, I'm really interested, but I'm just not ready yet. And that's okay. So Carrie, what would you say to someone who is interested, but they're just not ready yet to join, become a coach?
It's hard because I feel like we're never quite 100% ready. And it's like having kids. Are you ever 100% ready to have kids? but sometimes you just kind of have to jump in and dive into it. And I find that a lot of people want to have a clear vision of how their coaching is going to look after they graduate. And that's human nature to want to be able to do that. But I encourage you to let the process unfold as you go through the program. And you just never know what's going to come up, or what, as you go through the curriculum, what you might find most interesting or most passionate about, and allow that to unfold and just be in the experience.
Yeah, I love that. Just let the process unfold. That's just beautiful. And you're absolutely right. Sometimes we just have to start before we're ready. And I've got a couple more things to say about that, but I want to let Manaz share a little bit too. Go ahead, Manaz.
Yeah, well, I think when someone says I'm interested, but I'm not ready, that metaphor comes in my mind of a seedling underneath the soil. There is so much going on underneath the soil. There is just so much going on. And all they need is a little bit of watering and they need to give it that attention, and it just bursts through from underneath, and it's reaching up. It wants that sunshine. And I think having a conversation sometimes is that starting point. It's that point of growth. So if someone is interested but they're not ready, it doesn't mean that you have to be ready now. I've had conversations with people, it happens like 2 years later. It's a long cycle, it's a long process, because there are lots of things that need to be sorted out in between. But that conversation was the catalyst of them actually starting that journey and sort of setting that intention of, this is what I really want to do.
Yeah, beautifully said. Absolutely. And it can just start with a conversation, like you said. And so I encourage anyone who's listening or watching, if you are curious and you do want to continue the conversation, I encourage you to absolutely reach out to us. And of course, on the screen here, there are many ways that you can reach out to us, whether it's phone or email, or you can hop onto our website and you can actually schedule a call to speak with one of us. And we're happy to chat with you and just hold that space to have that conversation, and readiness. It's such an important concept, especially in the coaching world, right? So it's okay if you're not ready. And I encourage you to kind of explore some of that with yourself or with one of us. Readiness is part of this. There's a couple ingredients to the readiness recipe. I always say there's, importance. How important is this for you? And how committed are you? And how confident are you right now? And so being able to kind of excavate some of those questions and understand that a little bit more can also help you to move towards being a little bit more ready, to begin your journey. So we're happy to support you along that as well. And the last question of the day, this is from Marana, and she's asking, is this webinar suitable for the health workers all over the world? I live in Africa. And so I'm going to head this over to Manaz, because she is our international, among being an admissions team member, she's also our international relations coordinator. And we have a very robust international student community and alumni community. So Manaz, what would you have to say about this?
Well, she said, is it suitable? And I'd say it's not suitable, it's essential. Because when you think about it, it is needed all over the world. It is needed. It's so needed. And there are many places that don't have this. And we need to be there. So, those people, those brave souls that want to step forward and be the first in different places, FMCA is here to support you with that. I've been there. There are many, alums that have been there in different countries. There has to be a first. There has to be that first few group of like pioneers that are chopping down that forest, making that path, creating it. And when you do that, I mean, there's so much more that can come about. And we've seen incredible examples. So. I would say really it's so important, it's essential that people take part in this all over the world.
Thank you, Manaz. Thank you. I just want to say thank you to everyone who is watching today, whether you're watching live or the recording. Thank you so much to our graduates, Carrie and Manaz, and our admissions team members. We're so grateful for each and every one of you, and just the passion and the passion that you bring and the purpose. It's just remarkable. We're very blessed to have an amazing team. And again, thank you so much for joining us, for asking those questions, for listening, and for leaning into your curiosity and just being a part of this community. We are here to support you on your journey towards becoming a functional medicine certified health coach. And we really would love to continue the conversation with you. So you can reach out, you can schedule a call with us, you can email us, you can enroll with us, and whatever that looks like, we look forward to staying connected to you. I also wanted to let you know that we do have our September 2022 enrollment happening now through August 18th, and you are more than welcome. We invite you to use the code MyCareerWeek, that is one word, MyCareerWeek, for 15% off of our standard tuition. So once again, to continue the conversation, please reach out. You can schedule a call, you can email us. We are here to support you on this journey towards becoming a functional medicine certified health coach and just bettering the world in general. So thank you once again. Have a good rest of your day, and we'll talk to y'all soon. Bye now.